India's capital erupts with religious violence during Trump's visit. Knives out for Sanders. Bloomberg's second chance makes moments watch at tonight's debate. Bob Iger steps down as Disney CEO.
On Monday, President Donald Trump went to India ready to feel the love. He was promised to be greeted by big crowds, and he certainly was. He was greeted by the Prime Minister with a hug. Although a major trade agreement is unlikely during this visit, Trump was still happy to be there. Recently, Malaysia's Prime Minister has resigned. This is amid the speculation that he is trying to form a new ruling coalition that excludes his promised successor. Nobody knows who the next Prime Minister.
This week in sports, the high school girls varsity basketball team lost to Golden Sierra in the playoffs. Also, the Oakland A's lost to the Diamondbacks 7-3. The Oakland A's also lost to the Brewers 14-4 in spring training.
There's a Stockton Heat game today. This is the last day you could buy tickets from the office for $23. The game starts at 7. There's also a house rally today.
Spring training baseball fun facts. The two different leagues are the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League, and they each have 15 teams. There are two areas of play, and the Cactus League is in Arizona and the Grapefruit League is in Florida. Spring training tickets run as low as $27 and as high as $75.
Alright, if I could meet one famous person from history, I think I would go probably with Abraham Lincoln. He was president during the whole Civil War conflict, and it would be kind of interesting to hear like his thoughts and process on how do you hold together a country, a group of people that have like a severe dislike of each other, right? I think there's a lot of parallels that we could learn from in 2020 in America about, how do you bring together two groups of people that don't really get along very well. So I think it'd be interesting to meet Lincoln and hear his perspective on that.
So, what else could we learn, do you think, from Lincoln? Like, the big thing is the Civil War, but what other things could we learn from such a person?
Right, I think it's a lot about, cooperation and being willing to concede things to each other, right? Like, I have a way of doing things, other people have a way of doing things. How can we meet in the middle and find a solution that's kind of acceptable to both parties? Because real life is like that. You don't always get your way 100% of the time. You gotta figure out a way to move forward and be willing to give stuff up at the same time.
Do you think that you could justify the South's decision to try to keep slavery?
I would really have a hard time doing that. I can sort of justify their decision of wanting to leave the Union and feeling like maybe their needs and their rights weren't being agreed with or met in a certain way. But I think when it comes to defending slavery, it's just a really hard thing to do. Everybody is human. Everybody deserves a certain level of comfort and respect in their lives. So defending slavery is kind of a long shot, but I can, to a degree, understand why they would maybe not want to be a part of the Union that wasn't agreeing with or respecting their kind of way of life.
So why do you think that they wouldn't want to be part of the Union?
So if you set the slavery thing aside, right, there's a lot of differences between the North and South. So for example, in the North, it's based a lot on economic production and factories and things. And in the South, it's based a lot on agriculture, right? So you have a very large difference in the way people are making their money. And a lot of U.S. economic policy at that time was more benefiting manufacturing than agriculture. So if you feel like, well, we're about half of the country, and you're passing laws and setting policy based on things that only benefit people in the northern part of the country, I can understand where people would get frustrated with that.
So, what do you think is a better system for a country? Agriculture or manufactured goods?
I think, especially in 2020, we live in a world where you really can't have one without the other, right? A lot of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis, you need some sort of plant matter, like the shirt that I'm wearing is made out of cotton, right? Yeah, we need to manufacture that, but that's got to be grown before you can manufacture it. Same thing, who's going to feed all the households and families and workers that are working in factories? If you don't have agriculture, you don't have food, or you're put in a position where you need to import all your food from somewhere else, and that can be expensive and very difficult to do. So I think balance between the two is probably the most important thing.